Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Mr.BuyTheDip back here with another video. Let's talk about this week, okay? I know there's probably more than just two things or a few things going on this week, but I really want to talk to you guys about some of the biggest things that I have on my radar, okay? And you were kind of going to see these things happening in the stocks themselves, okay? So Amazon, for example, as you can see, we're at 227, and I do believe this can go above 230 after earnings. Amazon has lagged up, okay? We have stayed around that 211, 210, right? We have stayed around those zones for a little too long, for a little too much, okay? Now, if you didn't buy Amazon at 215, why do you want to buy it at 227? If you didn't buy Amazon at, even 212, why do you want to buy it now? Okay, it's just like, if you just want to gamble on earnings, that's not quite the right play. Okay, my earnings play was Uber. Okay, and this is next month, and I like to see this around that $95 level. Now, I want y'all to know we are still in a government shutdown. Okay, so the government shutdown has not stopped. Neither did the stock market react too much on that. Okay, but mega tech, okay, big earnings this week. So a lot of market leadership is the big names: Apple, Amazon, Meta, right? Their results is guidance, because what that does is, for example, if Apple shows earnings and they say, oh, we have people spending a lot of money on the iPhone 17. So what does that mean? Consumer demand is still there. So people can say, oh, the economy is slowing down, things are expensive, but if people are buying the new iPhone 17, I think, oh, we can ride that ride, make a little bit of money on Apple stock, right? Keep that in mind, okay? Now, the results is guidance and sets the tone. So if Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, if they pop, I have a position in Nvidia. As y'all know, Nvidia is on my long-term account, right? I'm just going to buy more Nvidia. And what I'll do is I'm going to buy Nvidia to the point where I'm going to average up, but I'm going to take that ride to $200 a share. And I'm most likely going to buy this either Monday or Wednesday. Okay, there's two ways the market can go on Wednesday. We can either go crazy after the rate cuts, or it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. A lot of people are gonna pump it up. Oh, buy, rate cuts, we're bullish, we're going to the moon. As soon as the news, Jerome Powell starts speaking, the stocks tank because people just take profit. Now, Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. I told you guys go watch my video on U.S. economy crash, why they want to cut interest rates, how the dollar is weakening, okay? I want you to put this into perspective. If the U.S. dollar is weakening, what are people going to do with their money? Are they going to let it sit in the bank? No. We're going to buy assets, right? And those assets are stocks. Those assets are something like crypto, like Bitcoin, XRP. XRP can go above $2.8. Honestly, this week, once it starts moving, it moves, right? So Federal Reserves and interest rates, okay? So markets are pricing, or at least hoping for rate cuts, because that's bullish for the markets. Rate cuts means businesses can borrow money for cheaper. I mean, it doesn't sound better than that, does it? If I'm a business owner and I want to open up a second location of my restaurant, right? Let's say. And all of a sudden they cut rates. Now, instead of borrowing for $250,000, I can borrow for $210,000, $220,000, right? With a little bit lower interest rates, okay? That sounds like a steal. So that is how people are going to view it. That is why it's so important for the market and all these businesses. These are all businesses. Tomorrow I'm going to watch for Waste Management and Whirlpool, okay? Again, keep a couple stocks on your radar. SoFi's on my radar. I had the chance to buy it at 26. If I see that, you can always buy in at those levels. Amazon can really have its moment either after earnings. We have lagged in Amazon. I want to keep that on your radar. So if you want to buy a 230 call, I wouldn't argue that, right? Because it can go to 230 and above, okay? Now, would I buy a 230 call before Wednesday? I would not. Even if you want to trade tomorrow, just know that the market, you never know what's going to happen. It could be a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event, or we can have people just have a huge sell-off, or Jerome Powell himself can say, oh yeah, we're going to cut rates, but the economy is still in trouble, or we still have a lot of uncertainty. He can throw into something like that, right? Or a question about the stock market could come up, and he always says he doesn't care about the stock market. He cares about interest rates and, cost of living, blah, blah, blah. Which 100% I disagree with. The Federal Reserve definitely looks at the stock market. The reason they didn't cut rates aggressively September was because the stock market was at all-time highs, but we are still at all-time highs. So it'll be really, really, really interesting to see what they'll do, right? And depending on what they'll do, the market is going to have a reaction. So when that reaction happens, you need to react. The market's going to react, but what are you going to do? Are you going to panic and just look at these prices, or are you going to buy? For example, if the market reacts and Uber goes under, I want y'all to look at this. If Uber goes under 90.9 or under $91 a share, I'm going to buy more Uber. Okay? I told you, once I pick a company, I'm going to take it where I want to take it. Uber's still on my list. Nvidia, I still got that on the long term. SCHD, if they drop my ETF, my wealth builder, this is my wealth builder. I'm holding this for 10 years. Every time I see this at $27 or under, I'm going to buy, and look at how consistent I have been, right? And I didn't buy it too much last week, right? Because obviously I didn't catch it where I wanted to, but I've been buying. I've been buying a good amount, a decent amount weekly, or I've been trying to buy weekly. So tomorrow, if I wake up, I see it at 27, right? Let's throw some money in. It doesn't matter what the Federal Reserve does with this type of ETF, because I'm looking at it 5 years out, okay? Can we go back up and break that 29.3 level in the next couple years? Obviously. So I'll be up just on my shares. For example, I'm still up on my shares, but I'll be getting a nice dividend yield, okay? On top of that, I can play into something like Uber. I can do an earnings play with Uber, or I can look for Nvidia. I can look for Meta. So that's why these earnings are so important. Okay, this week I'm looking for SoFi, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft. Keep it simple. Okay, Eli Lilly is another good company to kind of watch, and if you want to enter, take every earnings, okay, as an indicator for what the stock market does. When you buy a stock, you don't buy it because of the past. You don't buy it because of the history, okay? If you buy it because of the history, right, you're going to forecast, or you're going to believe that the stock is going to keep growing. For example, if I bought 10 shares of Walmart, I'm thinking the history is pretty strong. They're going to keep growing in the future. They're going to keep going up. So SoFi delivers good earnings, and you buy at $32 a share. Is that a bad buy? No, but I mean, if you had the option to buy it at 26, even at a pullback, why buy it at $31 a share, okay? Which SoFi can break through $30 a share. And it can happen, or it can go all the way back down to $22 a share, which there's a high probability it's going to go up above $30 a share. But again, buying an option call, getting fancy, it's not something you want to do before earnings, because you saw what happened with Netflix. I was one of those ones, I was believing Netflix was going to deliver on earnings. But if they give you even 3% before earnings, you need to take profit. So if you're up something on SoFi right now and you're like, okay, I want to take profit, go ahead and do that. Netflix is about to go under $1,000 a share, which is crazy to think about, right? And this drop came from earnings. So yeah, some of these stocks can go up, but they can also go down, okay? Apple hasn't went up almost every single earnings. Apple used to lag at 118, go up to 190, come back down to 128. Those levels a few years ago, Apple used to stay at those levels for a long time. But they popped because people started to realize, man, the iPhone isn't going anywhere. The demand is still there. People trade in their phone just to buy the same phone pretty much every single year, right? So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. This is a huge week, okay? We're still in the government shutdown. We got big tech reporting. This is going to set the tone for NVIDIA. It's going to set the tone for AMD, right? AMD. AMD. So if AMD, honestly, amazing stock. If this goes anything under 210, man, I mean, I could swing trade it. Well, I mean, why not? You know, put a 1,200 in there. In the long term, they go up. I make $150, $160, $180. You can get out. You can, rinse it out. You can rinse your profit. Repeat the same process over again. Like I say, recycle. Okay, do the same thing over and over again. I made money last week. Okay, same goal this week. I want to make some money, but I want to be patient. I want to see a good setup and take it. I don't want to just rush into things to swing trade, to day trade, or to make money from stocks, options. You got to be able to have patience, right? So Walmart, Uber, I can do an option play on Uber. I have shares in Uber, so I don't mind. I know how the stock moves now, okay? So if I see Uber, for example, at 92.50, I see it at 93. Okay, let's buy that 95 call expiring 3 weeks out, and then we go up to about 93.8. Ivy picks up. Cool. I can sell that, make some money off of that. But the goal at the end of the day is just to make money and get out. But I want to plant my foot in the door with SCHD for as of right now. Okay. Other than that, man, I don't see a stock that I would like to hold or get into a position where I feel like I'm getting a steal, like a real good deal. Just because a lot of things are at our all-time highs, right? And it's been like that for a few months now. So that's why it's very concerning. Around this time, people are starting to think, when are we going to drop? We're so high up. Are we going to get a huge crash? Are we going to get a huge correction? Because this is starting to get really scary. But there's nothing to panic about, right? Again, have your price targets. Remember the stocks you're buying right now. Remember the stocks you sold, okay? So if the market crashes again, have some cash ready. As you can see, I got $2,300 just in the Robinhood. Okay, I don't got that much invested, but I'm still managing to make money. Right? And that's just because of option trading. I'm still managing to make money. So it's not like I'm just holding cash and not making any type of money. That's why options is such a valuable skill to learn. Okay? So you don't have to just hold cash, save up. Oh, I'm going to wait for a crash. The crash might not even come in a year, in 6 months, right? You never know. We can keep going till end of the year rally. We can keep going till January, right? You never know how high is the market going to keep going, or the pullbacks we get is not going to be as aggressive. So you're going to miss out on a lot of money. Okay. So in order to make up, or at least make some type of money, do options, right? Learn how to swing trade, learn how to do technical analysis. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Mr. Buy the Dip is out.